Hi, I'm Helmut Licht. Welcome to my second video in a series of videos dealing with declinations and what I call the vertical zodiac. In this particular video, I will concentrate on easy planets. Those are planets whose declination is larger than the Sun's maximum declination. The Sun very constantly, very evenly always swings back and forth between its two maximum declinations. Maximum south of 2326, maximum north 2326. It never changes. Every year the same, every decade, every century. Because this phenomenon is so even and predictable, we were able to create what I call this vertical zodiac and say that if the Sun were right now increasing in declination toward the north, and if the sun were coming up right about here, we would draw a reference line down to the outer circle of the vertical zodiac and say, all right, the Sun is in Aries. If the Sun were coming up over here somewhere, draw the reference line to the outer circle of the zodiac, and we could say, yeah, the Sun is in Taurus. If the Sun were coming up over here somewhere, draw the reference line to the outer circle and say, yes, the Sun is in Gemini. Once the Sun has reached its maximum northern declination and then goes into a declination north decreasing, then we could say if the Sun comes up right over here, draw the reference line to the outer circle, and there it is, the Sun is in Leo. If the Sun were coming up right over here somewhere, you could say the Sun is in Virgo. This is why it is so important to stipulate whether the Sun's declination is north increasing or north decreasing. If it's north increasing and the Sun is coming up somewhere right over here, then we would say the Sun is in Aries. If the declination were north decreasing and the Sun is coming up at the same spot, we would have to say that the Sun is in Virgo. And this is the same for the southern declination. Very quickly, if the Sun's declination is south and increasing, and it's coming up somewhere over here, make the reference line to the outer circle, and we could say the Sun is in Libra. If the Sun would be coming up right over here, draw the reference line to the outer circle, and we would say the Sun's in Sagittarius. Once it's reached the southern maximum declination and then goes back this way, declination south decreasing, if we were coming up right over here, we would say the Sun is in Aquarius. If we were coming right up over here, the Sun would be Pisces. The planets also rise every day somewhere in here. We don't see them because they're so tiny, or the clouds get in the way, or the Sun is too bright during the day for us to see them. But if we could see the planets as clearly as the moon at night on a cloudless night, we would see that they also rise to the north, or declination decreasing to the south, declination increasing, and then again declination decreasing. As long as the planets rise within this range, we can then also make reference to our vertical zodiac. By this I mean, if Venus's declination was increasing toward the north and it rose just about here, I could say that Venus is in Aries, in the vertical zodiac, not the regular zodiac. If Venus were rising right over here somewhere, I could say, yeah, Venus is in Gemini. If Venus's southern declination were increasing and it were rising somewhere in here, I could say Venus is right now in Libra, because you always make reference to the outer circle. And so on. Now, The planets, like I said, rise within this range, but some planets also rise outside this range. Venus might come up over here on one morning, and then we have no way to make reference to our vertical zodiac, because our vertical zodiac's maximum northern declination is 2326, just like the sun's. And our vertical zodiac's maximum southern declination is also 2326, just like the sun's. This is why I've told you earlier, the vertical zodiac is based on the sun's maximum declinations. And if the Venus were rising right over here, we would have no way at this time to place it within our vertical zodiac. However, do not fear, I've found a way, which I will explain later. And remember, Intrepid software has the vertical zodiac in it and has taken care of all that. Right now, let's have a look at the individual planets' declination cycle. By this I mean, let's see when Pluto starts a northern declination, increasing, to northern declination decreasing, to southern declination increasing, and back up to southern declination decreasing. Here is Pluto. Pluto takes about 245 years to complete one complete cycle. It does go easy. Here is Neptune. Neptune takes about 165 years for one cycle. It doesn't seem to go out of bound, so let's look at a larger time frame, maybe about 1,000 years. Yes, Neptune never goes out of bound. It never goes easy. Next we have Uranus. Uranus takes about 84 years for one cycle, and it does go easy. North and south in this case. Then we have Saturn. Saturn takes 29 years about for one cycle. It doesn't seem to go out of bounds, just like Neptune. So let's look at the larger time frame, maybe about 500 years. Okay, no, Saturn never goes out of bounds, just like Neptune. I guess Saturn knows its limitations. Next we have Jupiter. Jupiter cycle is 12 years, and it might go out of bound. It's very close here. So let's look at a closer range. Yes, here we go. Jupiter will go easy. Not much, but it does go easy. Next we have Mars. Mars takes 700 days to complete one cycle. It does go out of bounds. Easy. Then we have Venus. Venus takes 9 months, and here it goes out of bounds. So Venus does go easy, extra zodiacal, past the sun's maximum declination. Mercury also goes easy quite frequently. Takes about 1 year for its cycle. The moon needs special treatment because its declination swings from north to south are much larger than the planets. It also moves very rapidly, so let's go into Solar Fire, create a quick chart, a new one, which is fine, and then go up here into Dynamic, pick Graphic Ephemeris, and we still have the sun's maximum declination right here, 23, 26, 21, it should be 22. Declinations is chosen, and let's pick the moon over here. There's the moon. Select. Let's start with a starting date of 2000 and pick a time period of 3 years. And now let's see what happens. Here we go. In the 3-year period, 2000, 2001, 2002, the moon's declination increases and it goes easy. Here it is easy. This is the sun's maximum right here. Let's go 3 years further. And the moon stays easy. 3 more years. And the moon is still easy. 3 more years, and then slowly it starts coming down. It leaves the outer bound region, the EZ region, and comes within the sun's maximum declination into, let's do 3 more years, and here it is. It's now no longer out of bound. It is within the sun's maximum declination on both ends. Here we go. And it stays there for 1, 2, 3 years. Let's see what happens. 4, 5, 6 years. 7 years, 8 years. 8 years it stays within the sun's maximum declination. And then it goes EZ again. If we change the time period to from 3 years to, let's say, 20 years, then we'll see it in action. The moon goes EC and stays EZ for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, and then it goes to within the sun's maximum for about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So roughly 18 years for a complete cycle. But the moon does go easy, and it stays easy for many years. That's the point I'm trying to make. And it does then come within the sun's maximum declination, and it stays that way for also quite a few years. Some of you watching this video may be interested more in the technical aspect of how I place these easy planets within the vertical zodiac. However, I'm sure all of you are interested in the astrological significance of these planets. Therefore, let me first explain to you what they mean to me, how I interpret them, and then show you how I finally ended up placing them within the vertical zodiac chart. Look at this blue area. It could signify many things, such as an event, a circumstance, a situation, a place, a condition. Let's make it a telephone conversation between Tom and Judy. Tom calls Judy, the conversation begins, and they are talking about the upcoming vacation. Suddenly Tom's mother beeps in. Judy says, "Go ahead, talk to your mother, I'll just hang on." Tom and his mother discussing today's lunch date together, and then Mom hangs up. The conversation continues. Thus, you might consider the time when Tom spoke to his mother as EZ, outside Tom and Judy's conversation. I call these a timeline EZ. These EZs can be all different lengths depending on the length of the blue area. Let me show you what I mean. You're at the ball game watching the game. You go to the concession stand to get some munchies. And you're back in your seat watching the game. You're at the theater watching a show. There's an intermission, about 10 minutes. And you're back in your seat watching the second half of the show. You're driving along a highway. You're at point A, but you hear on the radio that there's an accident straight ahead. So you decide to bypass the accident by taking a little detour. The detour part could be considered EZ because it lies outside the main route. You're doing something and things are not going right. So you stop what you're doing to say a little prayer, and then you go back to what you were doing. You're at work, working on your job. You take a 3-week vacation, and then you're back at work. You teach at a university. You take a 1-year sabbatical, and you're back to teaching at the university. Easy planets and their corresponding significance can either be temporary, such as indicated by transits or major progressions, or they can be permanent if the planet in question is easy at birth. Timeline EZs, as we have just seen, are temporary in nature. And here are a few examples of how a permanent EZ planet would manifest in somebody's life. My Mercury, which rules communication and verbal expression, is natally EZ. Here is my lifeline. From birth until age 20, I lived in Germany, and thus German was my primary language. However, my step-grandmother was French, and she only spoke French with me. French became my second language. 1945 was the end of World War II. Germany was occupied by American military, and English became my third language. At the age of 20, I moved to the United States, and then English became my primary language. Let's follow this up with a look at my chart showing my natal Mercury in the inner ring, and its VC twin in the outer ring. Also notice, please, that Pluto's vertical zodiac twin has moved very close to the Sun, and is conjuncting not only the Sun but also my Mercury. As we know, Pluto rules death and transformation. Not only did I have a personal transformation, Pluto conjunct Sun, by coming to the United States into a whole new world, but also a language transformation, Pluto conjunct Mercury, because English became my primary language. My Mercury's vertical zodiac twin is in the 6th house, conjuncting Uranus. Uranus likes the new. Uranus likes the frontiers. And here I am explaining to you about the vertical zodiac, and later on about the Declinations chart, another frontier. A good way to interpret an EZ planet is to use keywords. Important, if you can relate astrologically to any of the following keywords when analyzing a chart, remember that these keywords have opposite meanings. For instance, if a transiting or progressed planet is going EZ, and the native is experiencing a separation of some kind, then when the respective planet's EZ period is coming to an end or is reversing itself, then the separation might come to an end, and there could be a reunification of some kind. Try not to take these keywords too specifically. Give them more a universal meaning. For instance, the word detour. You might be aiming for a promotion in your career, but in order to get a promotion, you may have to take 1 or 2 college courses to better qualify you for the promotion. So I consider those courses and the time that you spent taking those courses a detour toward your promotion. Let's take the word unknown. You might be into medical research, and when your Mercury goes EZ, and lately you have an aspect to Neptune ruling drugs, you might decide that you want to do some research into a certain drug, or maybe into an area of medicine where very little is known. You do your research, and then when Mercury leaves the EZ area, you will bring that knowledge back to society and make it known. From this list, let's take the word exceeding, speed limit. When you have lived for a while, like I have, at this point in time I'm 76 years old, you realize, and especially when you're into astrology, that there is a timing to your affairs in life. And sometimes you become impatient, and then you rush things. You exceed life's speed limit. And then things don't work out. One specific item might, but in the overall scheme of things in your life, you have rearranged the timing. So you have to be sensitive for life's speed. And as an astrologer, you have an insight into that. And if you find yourself speeding, and you find that things are getting distorted, then just come down to the speed limit and you will be fine. From this list, I'm going to choose unusual, but not unusually large, but rather unusually tall. My natal Mars is easy and has rulership over my 5th house of children. The average height of my family is between 5'10" and 6'1". My youngest son Kyle grew to be 6'8". I will choose one more word from this list, untouchable. I went to a party the other day where many of my friends were, and I greeted them one by one, and I came to one person who always gives me a hug, and I give her a hug. As I proceeded to give her a hug, she backed up and said, "I'm not hugging." And I was sort of taken back. But I didn't say anything, so I mentioned that incident to one of my friends later on, and she said, well, she had just begun chemotherapy, and her immune system was very low, and she was afraid to touch anybody. So then everything made sense, and I'm sure that when her chemotherapy is over and she is better, she will go back to being touchable. Thus, if a person has Mars EZ by progression, by transit, and Mars happens to rule the 1st house, the body, it could very well be that during that period, her body becomes untouchable. It just shows you how these keywords could work out in numerous unexpected ways. And research has to be done, and feedback has to be given. One more thing, how easy planets express themselves is determined by their aspects. Where they express themselves is determined by their rulership, location, and sign. Alright, now let me show you how I place these easy planets into the vertical zodiac. So here we have all 3 zodiacs. The vertical zodiac in the middle, the easy zodiac south on the bottom, and the easy zodiac north. The vertical zodiac in the middle has a maximum declination range of 23 north, 26, 22, and 23 south, 26, 22, which is also the sun's maximum declination. Once a planet goes past the sun's maximum declination, it enters into either the easy zodiac in the north or the easy zodiac in the south. It depends. And I will illustrate this in a few moments. The easy zodiac's maximum declination is the same as the moon's maximum declination, which is 28 degrees, 43 minutes, and 30 seconds. It's the same in the north as with the south. As mentioned earlier, the vertical zodiac has 4 distinct declination phases, and here they are quickly. North increasing, north decreasing, south increasing, and south decreasing. The EZ zodiacs only have 2 declination phases. Here is the northern one. North increasing, Cancer through Sagittarius. North decreasing, Capricorn through Gemini. South increasing, Capricorn through Gemini. And south decreasing, Cancer through Sagittarius. Here is Venus with a declination of, let's say, 23 north 25, which is very close to the sun's maximum declination of 23 north 26. Therefore, Venus is now at the end of Gemini in the vertical zodiac. That little red line right here. Now, if Venus's declination increases to 23 north 27, it would be larger than the Sun's maximum of 23 north 26, and therefore Venus would move into the easy zodiac. Venus is now in the easy north zodiac and will remain there as long as its declination is larger than 23 north 26 22. In this scenario, Venus has reached a southern declination of, let's say, again, 23 south 25, very close to the southern maximum of the vertical zodiac, which is 23 south 26. If Venus's declination would now increase to 23 south 27, it would move into the southern easy zodiac. And it would stay there as long as it has a declination larger than 23 south 26 22. The vertical zodiac had 4 distinct declination phases: north increasing, north decreasing, south increasing, and south decreasing. And every one of those phases had signs associated with it. North increasing, Aries, Taurus, and Gemini. North decreasing, Cancer, Leo, Virgo. South increasing, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius. And south decreasing, Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. When planets have a declination larger than the Sun's maximum of 23, 26, either north or south, they move into an area which I call extrazodiacal, or EZ. And in these areas we only have 2 separate declination phases: increasing and decreasing. The same in the south: increasing and decreasing. Let's take these 2 directions and transform them into an arch. And here we are, north increasing on the left and north decreasing on the right. The purple area is the very top part of the northern part of the vertical zodiac. And it ends at 23 north 26 22. And then any planet which goes past this degree moves into the northern easy area. By the way, the same holds true for the southern easy area also. Now we are going to create the easy zodiac by assigning 6 signs to north increasing and the other 6 signs to north decreasing. And here it is. You may question why this easy zodiac begins with the sign of Cancer. The reason is, do you remember that the highest part of the vertical zodiac is that point where Gemini ends and Cancer begins? So any planet who would go beyond that declination would have to leave the vertical zodiac at the end of Gemini and then go into Cancer of the easy zodiac. Here is the northern easy zodiac, and I have shown you the degrees and minutes when one sign ends and the next sign begins. For instance, Leo begins when at 24 north 19 increasing. Virgo begins at 25 north 12, and so on. Pisces begins at 26 north 58 decreasing. And Taurus begins at 25 north 12 decreasing. I have placed Venus in 4 different locations. Looking at the first location of Venus, if Venus were located at 24 north 30 increasing, Venus would be located in Leo. If Venus had a declination of 27 north 15 increasing, it would be located in Scorpio. If Venus had a declination of 26 north 30 decreasing, it would be located in Pisces. And if Venus had a declination of 23 north 50 decreasing, it would be located in Gemini. Well, this concludes my second video on the vertical zodiac. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something, and I hope you'll apply what you have learned in your daily astrology. But there is more. In my third video, I will show you something that has never been shown in the history of astrology. I will show you how planets at certain times will abandon their circular motion around the zodiac and jump sometimes clearly across the chart. Yes, but you will have to wait for my third video. Have a great day, stay well, I'll see you soon.